To the June the 13th session of It's Happening in Grand Prairie. If you'd like to have your own TV show, please call Storer Cable TV Production Department 263-1617, and they will be very interested in enrolling you in their workshop. There's usually one each Saturday, so call our production department and find out what's going on, and let's help make Grand Prairie have one of the best public access groups in the state of Texas. And this is Ruthie Jackson with the Chamber of Commerce, and we're just so delighted to have some very special guests with us. And Carol Shadden, welcome to It's Happening in Grand Prairie. And Carol Shadden is the Director of really Public Affairs for the Chamber of Commerce. She's our PR honcho and has been very instrumental for the last 2 years in seeing that the Chamber is well publicized with their activities. And Carol, we're glad to have you on the show. And what exciting do you have to tell us about the Chamber and PR work?
Well, thank you, Ruthie. It's always good to be here, and I have some very exciting news this evening. Our Public Relations Committee met at noon today. We met with the Quality of Life Foundation Chairman, Harry King, and we planned one of the most exciting things to come down the pike in sometime in Grand Prairie, the groundbreaking for the new Chamber facility. And that's going to be June 30th at 1:15, and the location is west of the library. I don't know the exact street number, but it is on the west side of the library on Conover Drive. We hope that all the citizens in Grand Prairie will attend, participate in this wonderful time for all of us, and then we will leave the groundbreaking services and go to the library for a reception immediately following. There's one thing I'd like to mention. The groundbreaking services themselves will be dedicated to our one and only Ruthie Jackson, and we're extremely excited about that.
Thank you. And I know that everyone in Video Land is going, all of our 8,000 subscribers are going to want to know the date for that.
Oh,
yes.
Yes, that is June the 30th.
June the 30th, and the time one more time?
And it is 1:15, June 30th.
June the 30th.
And the reason we're having it on June 30th, if I might add, Ruthie, that is the day exactly 24 years ago, that day, when we moved into the now existing Chamber facility. So we thought it appropriate to break ground for our new facility 24 years later, the day that we moved in, the one we're in now.
That's very exciting. You know, historically, that is something that historians would do, and we thank Harry King for following through in giving us a special date to commemorate. And I know that there are other things going on that are under your bailiwick as far as that's concerned, but I believe you have a guest for us this evening.
Well, yes, we are so happy to have with us someone that anyone who's been involved in many, many areas in Grand Prairie knows by now, and that is Linda, and we have seen Linda at the Chamber. She's that smiling face and that smiling voice that answers the phone, that smiling face that greets us when we walk in down there. And Linda, how long have you and your family been in Grand Prairie?
5 years.
5 years. Linda, now we want you to look right out into the camera, and we want you to tell everyone in our viewing audience maybe a little bit about yourself, about your family, about your husband, and I know especially about your young son who's been ET for us, and tell us just a little bit about you personally.
Well, we moved here from Phoenix, Arizona 5 years ago, and my 2 girls now are grown and away from home. They went to North Grand Prairie High School. And John has gone to Eisenhower and Adams, and now we'll go to Grand Prairie High School this next fall. So we've literally watched the children grow up here in Grand Prairie. My husband works over in Dallas for REO and Company.
And well, tell me a little something about what you do at the Chamber. That's what these people would like to know, other than answering the phone and doing all of the good stuff.
I'm the office manager at the Chamber, and I handle the accounts and the bookkeeping end of it, and scheduling the meetings and all those types of things. So we also have many new employees. We have a receptionist. We have a VOE student that works there. Sharon Redwine is our new receptionist.
Wonderful.
Leah McCaslin is our VOE student, and we have a new editor and public relations person Judy Seja, and of course Dale Lockett runs everything, and Dale is our executive director.
But now, as the office manager, Linda, you have the responsibility of all of these other people to see that everything flows beautifully at the chamber. Now, did we tell our viewing audience that your last name is Wood, Linda Woods, with an S? And now, tell us about your young son that played E.T. for us for our Brownie troupe. We'd like to know a little bit about him personally.
Well, he's typical, becoming a typical teenager, changing voice and everything. This summer he's working, and he's just beginning to grow up here in Grand Prairie. He loves it here.
Linda, we're just so delighted that Carol decided to bring you as her first guest. We are planning a series of guest appearances from special people from the chamber and the directors and etc. And Carol's going to be handling that with us, and hopefully she'll be appearing and other members of her committee, so that we will have our assembly acquainted with all of the people that work as volunteers, most of them for the Chamber of Commerce. And Linda happens to be one of the paid staff, and we're just so delighted that even though in that 5 years she has become very near and dear to the hearts of those of us that work as volunteers for the Chamber of Commerce. Carol, is there anything else that you have that we ought to announce about the Chamber of Commerce?
Well, Ruthie, there are some other things that we're working on, but I'd like you to tell us, if you would, about our Grand Prairie night at Ranger game.
Oh, last week we just had so much fun. We had David Weiner, the president of the JCs, here, and David Weiner told us about Grand Prairie night with the Texas Rangers versus Oakland. And by the way, that game's going to be a double-header, and it's going to be June the 24th. We want everyone to mark your calendar and just really block that out. June the 24th, and beginning at 5:35 p.m. This doubleheader is going to be second to none. I think Carol's doing an anti-rain dance so that we won't have any rainouts for this Ranger game. And by the way, the tickets are only $4.50. You can purchase those at the Chamber or Mercantile Bank, Republic Bank, and the First City Bank. And if you have any questions and want to know anything about the details about Grand Prairie night with the Texas Rangers and see our Mayor Ann Gresham throw out the first ball, probably to Oakland, 264-1558 is the Chamber telephone number. Remember, mark your calendar, and this is going to be very special. And before we break away to bring our next guest in a few minutes, we would like to take this opportunity to again congratulate the Grand Prairie Daily News for the UPI Awards. And this was wonderful. We do again salute editor Casey Seelix, Debbie Henley, who used to be with the Daily News and now is freelancing, and all of the others that participated and received awards for this. Remember that the Beautify Texas Council, their state convention is in Lubbock this week, beginning Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and I believe there are 3 or 4 people from Grand Prairie going. Ruth and Harry King plan to go. Harry is on the program and is one of the walking panel of expert members. Also, he's a vice president for the Beautify Texas Council. We'll be going as your representative from the CCS program, and we want you to all come to Lubbock if you can on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to the Governor's Community Achievement Awards. So if you can hook it to Lubbock, come join us on Beautification for Texas. And we'll be right back with our very next guest.
How do you spell love? L-O-V-E, right. But you can also spell love T-I-M-E. Well, the best ways to show someone you really love them is to spend some time with them. Is it true of husbands and wives, children? It's true of everyone. Remember the second way to spell love, T-I-M-E.
We're delighted to welcome you back now that we have finished our interview with Linda Woods, who is the office manager with the Chamber of Commerce, and Carol Shadden, our PR department with the Chamber of Commerce as a volunteer, has brought us another very special guest. We have back with us for our second time Miss Grand Prairie for 1983, Pamela O'Brien. And Pamela, how delighted we are to have you with us. And Carol, thank you for bringing her.
My pleasure, Ruthie.
Isn't that wonderful? Now, Pamela, you're going to have to tell Carol and I both, fill us in on all of the good things you've been doing since you were elected to Miss Green Prairie, and tell our viewing audience what you're planning on doing in the next couple of weeks, and maybe some of the deadline things and some of the things you're kind of working on. Would you do that for us?
Yes, ma'am. Ruthie, it's a pleasure to be back with you again today. There are many things that Grand Prairie has us do. Many of the girls are doing a lot of the same things to get ready for the pageant. We're all watching what we eat, exercising a lot, working with weights, and thank you to the Fitness Center for giving me a wonderful year of working out there. We're doing many other things like laying out and trying to get a nice tan and buying a lot of new clothes. It's really a lot of fun, but some of the more important things that I'm able to do is meet a lot of people in Grand Prairie, doing a lot of functions, ribbon cuttings, and Western Days was a barrel of fun, the rodeo. I've really had a great time doing a lot of these things.
Well, wonderful. Do you have any other plans in the next 2 weeks? Are you practicing the piano? Tell us about your schedule of that, would you, Pamela?
My schedule is pretty rigorous right now. Yes, of course, I'm practicing about 6 to 8 hours a day, whenever I get a chance, really, and working out about 1 hour to 2 hours every day. I'm still studying lessons out at North Texas with my teacher and getting ready. My mother and I are working on a lot of my clothes for my competition and just really having a lot of fun preparing.
Now, I have one real key question. Have you made that final decision on the selection of your presentation, of your musical presentation for the pageant?
Yes, Ruthie, I have. It was a very hard decision. My piano teacher worked with me real close on that. I've chosen a piece by Franz Liszt called La Campanella. And I think because it has a familiar tune and it is very showy, it should be a good one for the judges and the audience alike.
Good, and you're taking your fingers and exercising them properly and doing all of the right things. And I know, Carol, you mentioned a few minutes ago that we have the 30th earmarked for the groundbreaking of the chamber. I believe you also have something else on that date too, don't you, Carol?
Yes, Ruthie, it's going to be a rather busy day, and we really planned the groundbreaking, hoping that people would attend the groundbreaking ceremonies at 1:15, then on to the library for a reception, and then leave there and hopefully arrive at the Tesco Ready Room for the send-off reception for Pamela to the state contest. That reception will be the 30th from 2 to 5.
Wonderful. Now, we want everyone to mark your calendar and get the 30th down, because we're going to really fill up your calendar that day. 1:15 for the groundbreaking of the chamber building just west of the library, and then on down to the Tesco building, which is on College Street, 400 College, and Northwest 4th Street or 3rd Street. You'll find the Tesco building. So come by and wish bon voyage and happy participation to Pamela for her deal at the Miss Texas pageant. And I believe that's going to begin on the 6th of July, or do you get there before that time, Pamela?
We do check in the hotel on the 3rd, which is the Sunday before, and our major competitions start on Tuesday with interviews, and then Tuesday through Friday are preliminary competitions, and Saturday night will be the top 10 competitions. So it should be a very busy and exciting week.
When will you know on which days you'll have swimsuit, your evening gown, and the talent competition, or do you already know that?
We do know that already.
Oh, please give me your schedule. I must write that on our schedule.
All right. I'll begin with my interview on Tuesday afternoon, and Tuesday night, for me, the hardest competition is the swimsuit. But I'll be brave and do that. Wednesday night, I will have my evening competition, evening gown competition, and Thursday night will be my talent competition. Friday, I will get to rest for a little bit and hopefully perform again on Saturday.
Well, wonderful. They say that the later in the pageant that your talent comes, if you have a very good talent, that gives you a better opportunity maybe to reach the top 10. And is that kind of what you were drawing for when you were able to draw that slot?
We were hoping so. I think it turned out real good. We were real pleased.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Well, I'd like to add, Pamela, that you indeed do have a major talent, as Ruthie said. It's just the most exciting thing I've ever witnessed to listen to you play.
Yes, and since we have had a Miss America in the piano competition in the past, that gives us a lot of hope for Miss Green Prairie and our Miss Pamela, doesn't it? Wonderful. Well, I noted with a great deal of interest when I was talking with Sharon Redwine the other day that one of the hardest things usually that come will be your questions that come.
Yes.
Can you give us a sample of some of the things that they might ask you? Carol and I both would like to know. That makes us nervous also, you know.
Yes. They can ask most anything they would like to. A lot of things that they want to ask you are political questions to make sure that you're up on your current events, things that are happening all over the world. So I'm busy reading U.S. News World Report and newspapers and listening to the news, things like that. But they will also ask about your career and what you're planning on doing and possibly opinions on different issues that you might have.
Well, now, you have a real good inroad here with Carol. See, she happens to work for Congressman Martin Frost, so if you need to know anything about the political scene, and since she and her late husband worked so very diligently in their political party, she might be able to give you some pointers on that particular
That would be
thing. Wonderful. Well, we are going to wish you Godspeed, good luck, and everything else, and hope you have good health, and everything will go your way between now and July the 3rd.
Right.
Well, really, between now and June the 30th, when we give you a send-off. And by the way, that send-off, Carol, isn't that sponsored by the Women's Division?
Yes, yes, that is sponsored by the Women's Division, and it is always a lovely reception. So I really encourage each and every one of you to attend and extend your good wishes to Pamela.
And bring Pamela a wonderful little good luck charm or a card or a rose or something, and come and help us send her off on her trip. Only to Fort Worth, Texas, but it's going to be a memorable event in her life. And Pamela, we wish you everything the best for you, and thank you for being our guest again. And we hope we'll have you back the next time. We'll take you as Miss Texas, Miss America, but we'll accept you back as Miss Green Prairie if that that goal isn't reached for you. And we'll be right back in just a few. And welcome back for our calendar of events of It's Happening in Grand Prairie. If you'll have your pencil and paper ready, we have several things of importance that we know that you'll be interested in. First of all, there is a rape prevention seminar that will be held at the City Hall Council Chambers. This will be on June the 23rd at 7:00 p.m. And this is sponsored by the Grand Prairie Crime Commission, and it is for women only. We do hope that you will attend this if you're interested, and Kay Schenderly will be the instructor, and she is an officer with the Grand Prairie Police Department. And if you do have any questions, if you'd call 263-4141. Also, the Crime Stoppers are offering a gigantic reward of $6,000 for any information and the final arrest and prosecution of the robbers of the Texas Auto Salvage. And I believe this robbing date, as listed in the paper, was May the 30th or the 31st. If you have any tips about this, would you please call Crime Stoppers 264-2222. And Carol, since I had all of these heavy things, do you have anything any lighter to announce for us?
Yes, I do, Ruthie. These seem very exciting. We are going to have some class reunions here in Grand Prairie this summer. And the class of 73 from South Grand Prairie High School will hold their reunion on June the 18th. They will have an all-day picnic at the Turner Park Pavilion, and followed by a party that evening at 8:30 at the Woodcrest Country Club. Now, for further information, if you are a member of that class of 73, please call Brenda Bowen at 264-2923. And the 1948 Grand Prairie High School graduating class are having their 35th reunion July the 9th, Saturday, July 9th, at the Woodcrest Country Club. We do not have an exact time on that yet, but for further information, please contact Bob Tanner at 387-3357.
Wonderful. Carol, I have another heavy. It really isn't heavy. It's something that many of us would probably enjoy and need. The critical care class, sponsored by the DFW Medical Center, begins on June the 23rd. It will be followed again on June the 30th, on July the 7th, and July the 14th. And each one of these days, it will be an all-day session from 8 in the morning until 4:30 p.m. Now, this is the cardiopulmonary class, and if you're interested in this, please call the hospital and register 641-5000, 641-5000 to the critical care class information for the DFW Medical Center. Also, we'd like to congratulate the Business and Professional Women's Club of Grand Prairie for the recent A Awards presentation that they made. Hopefully, we're going to bring you some excerpts from this with our videotapes that we made that day. However, if this doesn't happen, we again want to congratulate all of those that helped provide all of the plaques and the certificates for all of the A Awards winners. And we had, from the different grades, we had 50 from the 5th grade to receive awards. We had 13 from the 8th grade, 13 from the 9th grade, 16 from the 10th grade, 6 from the 11th grade, and Carol, did you know that there were 8 people that went from the 1st grade through the 12th grade with straight A's that received these wonderful plaques from the Business and Professional Women's Club, funded by the Mercantile Bank, the First City Bank, the First State Bank, the Republic Bank of Grand Prairie, the National Bank of Grand Prairie, and Jackson Vending Supply Incorporated. We'd like to thank these companies for supplying the funds for these, and please tell them of your glad tidings when you go into these business establishments and thank them for us. And Carol, what else do you have that's of interest?
Well, we have a 20-year class reunion for Grand Prairie High School, and it will be held, this is the class of 1963. It will be held July the 23rd at the Elks Lodge on Idlewild Road. There were, I understand, 360 in the class, and 300 of those have been contacted. For further information, time, etc., contact Sandra Nowell Vines at 641-4887. We also have a Grand Prairie High School 1973, Class of 73 reunion, July the 30th, 8 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. at the Flagship Inn. And for further information regarding the class reunion of the 1973 Grand Prairie High School group, call Brant Kruger 264-2545.
Carol, last week we had on our show Chief Kunkel of the Police Department, and he brought us all sorts of information about Burglary Prevention Month. Remember, all of the month of June is a special emphasis on burglary prevention, and we'd like to salute the Chief for all of the innovative ways that he is approaching this subject, and we would like for each of you, if you like the things that you see, please write a note of commendation to Chief Kunkel and say, "Thanks, Chief. We like the things you're doing." You know, there are times when we'll fuss about things, but there are times when we really should thank those that are trying to help us. Thank you again, Chief Kunkel, for Burglary Prevention Month and for all of the emphasis that's being placed there. The secret sister of Shelley Anderson Edwards called today and asked me to wish Shelley Anderson Edwards a very happy birthday on this her birthday. And I was so delighted to do that for her secret sister. I hope that she never finds out who called me until the revealing time. Carol, and what else do you have?
We have one more class reunion that is scheduled at this time. This is Grand Prairie High School, class of 1978. Their 5-year reunion will be August 13th at the Woodcrest Country Club. For further information, time, etc., call Kay at 264-5030. And then we would like to salute the Jackson Middle School UIL winners, if we might, today, Ruthie. These young people are Amy McDade, Brian Guthrie, Felicia Johnson, Robbie Holt, Mark Allen, Raul Cruz, Rex Cuajunco, I don't want to mispronounce the name, Lori Covington, Chung Du, and Manyvanh H-A-N-H. We are excited about these young people winning in the UIL competition, and we do salute them.
Carol, isn't it wonderful that we have young people like this? We hear about so much about the ones that do a few of the little bad things, and it's nice that we can salute those that excel academically, and it has just been a real treat to work with them this year. And I know as the past president of the Business and Professional Women's Club, you have been very instrumental in seeing that all of these good things happen to these boys and girls that have A grades and excel, such as that. Carol, I also have a salute to the Seroptimist Club of Grand Prairie. They recently, at one of their meetings, awarded several scholarships. Sharon Hughes received their medical scholarship, and we want to thank them for recognizing Sharon. Also, Jolande Sogovia was the Volunteer of the Year for the Seroptimist. Also, Don Collins, and we call him Donnie Collins, won the Citizenship Award from the Seroptimist. And Pamela A. Murray was recognized for her outstanding service. And also Mildred Walker was recognized. And your speaker was very pleased to get the salute of Women Helping Women and Men from the Seroptimist. Also, Deanne Williams from the Dallas County Medical Auxiliary won a nursing scholarship. Isn't that splendid?
Right.
Glad to have all of that good news to put around, too.
That is wonderful. Could I add a little bit to that, Ruthie? We have just been notified that we have recently completed the 43rd Annual Boys State. And this was at the University of Texas at Austin, sponsored by the American Legion. And Grand Prairie had two fine representatives. They were Carden Hilton and Brian Burgess. And we are delighted to have two young people from our city in competition at the 43rd Annual Boys State Convention.
Good. Is that about the end of your stack, Carol?
I believe one more.
One more? Okay.
Go ahead, Ruth.
Let me tell about Mark Self. Mark Self received the G.H. Turner Scholarship, and Mr. Durwood Sutton made this presentation, and we're just so proud of Mark. This is a wonderful banking scholarship, and I believe he's going to the University of Texas at Austin. So let's hold all the rest of our announcements, Carol, until next week. Always we end our show with asking people, telling them who we are and telling them the name of our show. So this is Ruthie Jackson with the Chamber of Commerce and
Carol Shadden with the Chamber of Commerce,
reminding you it's happening in
Grand Prairie.